Shalom, back again with another lesson. Before I begin this lesson, I'd like to begin by giving all honor, glory, and praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Recha Kodash. I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles and all the bishops of Great Millstone who rule well, where I've learned this truth from. I want to say peace and salutations to you Akim, you brothers out there laboring, pushing this word out in all truth and in sincerity, presenting your bodies as a living sacrifice, which is a reasonable service. I want to say shalom to you Akwaf, meaning you Israelite sisters that may be listening, and also to you Israelites that are scattered across the four corners of the earth. You may look like these other nations, but your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is the chosen seed line. Shalom. So the Bible teaches us you reap what you sow. So whatever you put into the earth, whether it be good or bad, it will return to you in its season, in due season. If you sow corruption, if you sow love, if you sow violence, whatever it is, that same spirit will turn back to you, whatever you put out eventually. Nobody can escape their judgment, right? So you know the saying, or you know how the saying goes, what goes around comes around. This is a true thing. This is a true statement. Now, in the case of these Edomites, they have a long history of shameful acts that they have to answer for. Everything they have committed around the world, especially against the Lord's people, the Lord's children, the Israelites, they have a long list of things that they're going to have to answer for. There's no way they can escape the judgment that they've basically brought on themselves, right? The crazy thing is that everything that these Edomites have done in the earth, right, these wicked, they believe that they won't be held accountable for any of it. They believe that there won't be any consequences or recompense against them for anything that they've done. But the funny thing is, we in this truth, we understand and know that the Edomites have completely screwed up and they're done for. Their judgment is already set, right? And it's right around the corner, and they're about to find out. So to kick off this lesson, I'm going to start in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8. And I'm going to read verse 11, right? And it says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil, right? So because the sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, meaning because they don't receive judgment, or they haven't received judgment yet, they've done all this wickedness in the earth and they haven't really received any judgment for that, right? It says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, it says, therefore the heart, which the heart is their mind, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. So they just, okay, well, I ain't really received any type of judgment, any recompense for what I've done, so let's just continue, and this is their pride. This is the pride of these people, like, nobody can stop us, nobody can touch us, we can do what we want, right? So this is why they continue to be wicked and do evil things, because their hearts and mind, they believe that they're never going to be judged, right? We'll read in the book of Psalms, chapter 50, and I'm going to scroll down to verse 21, right? This is this is what makes me laugh about this scripture. It's like, it says, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence, right? So the Lord has seen everything that they've done. It's not like the Lord don't see what they're doing. The Lord can see it like crystal clear. He's like looking at them doing this evil, right? But it says, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence. So the Lord's like, I saw what you've done, but I'm not saying anything at the moment. I'm just going to let you keep doing the things that you're going to do, and I'm going to respond to that in a bit. Watch. It says, thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself. So, these Edomites thought that, oh, well, the Lord's not judging us, so he must be like us. He must be one of us, But the Lord's like, thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one like as thyself. Meaning you thought I was like you, but I ain't. He says, here, it says, but I will reprove thee. I'm going to correct you. I'm going to show you. It says, and set them in order before thine eyes. And that's talking about the Israelites. when you read in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, it talks about the valley of the dry bones, the bones that came together when Ezekiel prophesied over the bones. That's the Israelites of today waking up to who they are. We understand who we are. We understand who they are. We understand who these Edomites are. Right? And the Lord is setting us in order because we're coming back to our heritage and we're following the laws, the statutes, the commandments to the best of our abilities and doing the things that are pleasing to the Lord, right? And you can read that story in the book of Ezekiel because, Ezekiel 37 is a good chapter, right? Now, the poetic justice behind all of this, right, is that they're now starting to feel the burden being placed on them. They're seeing the Israelites, on the street corners. They're seeing all the YouTube videos popping up. We live in their minds rent free currently because they can't take their eyes off the fact that the Lord has woken his people up and there's nothing that they can do to stop it. Even when they have our people, some of our people in Christianity that come up against us and scoff and all these things, there's nothing that they can do to stop it because it's of the Lord. It's prophetic. The Lord said that we were going to wake up in these end times, right? A remnant is going to wake up, and that remnant is here, and they ain't going anywhere, right? So these Edomites can really sense that life isn't as sweet for them as they once had it. From the Jim Crow era, all that, civil rights and all that other stuff, they were in their heaven. But then the Lord's woken us up, and now they can't control us, and these Edomites are going to be crashing out soon, right? They thought that they could mock the Lord. This is why I'm going to go to the book of Galatians, chapter 6, and verse 7, right? It says here, "Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap." Right? So it says, be not deceived. Don't be, fooled into thinking that you're going to just be wicked and I'm not going to come and get you. You know what I mean? It says, be not deceived. The Most High is not mocked. Like, don't think the Lord, you're going to take the Lord for a joke. He sees exactly what you've done, right? And he kept silent because he knew exactly how he was going to deal with that situation, right? It says, be not deceived. The Most High is not mocked. He says, so, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Again, if you sow good in the earth, you're going to receive the judgment for it. If you sow wicked in the earth, you're going to, the Lord's going to get you for it. You reap what you sow, right? Let me read that again. This is Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. That's beautiful. So do you hear that, Esau? If you're listening, that whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. You're going to reap what you sowed. So all the things that you've sown in the earth, that's what's going to come back to you, right? And the crazy part, right, is that it's going to come back to you double. You get it double, right? So let's have a look in the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 18, verse 6. It says here, actually, I'm going to start at verse 4. This is Revelation 18, verse 4. It says, "And I heard another voice from heaven, saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues." And this is talking about these Edomites. It's talking to the Israelites, say, come out of the, the wickedness of this society. Come out of this wicked kingdom. Get your minds right. Come out of this wicked society and don't take part in it. Don't be of the world, because the world is about to be judged, right? It says, "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities." Like these Edomites thought they got away with it. Everything that they've done, the long laundry list of things that they committed in the earth, they thought the Lord forgot about it. But nope, the Lord hath remembered her iniquities. Right? So verse 6, it says, "Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works." in the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. The Lord's saying, hey, give her a double, man. Whatever she's done in the earth, let her have double, right? Verse 7, it says, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. So that's the pride of Esau coming out there, right? So the Lord's identifying that, she have glorified herself. It says, how much has she glorified herself and lived deliciously? And they've gone through all the four corners of the earth and just conquered and pillaged and murdered and raped everything, right? They've done it all. They've lived deliciously, right? And then it says, so much torment and sorrow give her, like pay her back for that, right? You reap what you sow. You sowed that wickedness, you're going to get that wickedness. It says, for she saith in her heart, which is her mind, I sit a queen, like I'm on top of everything. I'm the queen of the world, right? It says, and I'm no widow. So she thinks, well, ain't nobody come up against me and taken me down. So, I rule it all. It says, and shall see no sorrow. She thinks that she's just untouchable and she's going to continue on forever and nothing's going to stop her, right? And that's these Edomites. So it says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. That's them ICBM nuclear missiles when Russia and all the world turns on America and sends them missiles directly to the friggin' front door. For strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. That's who's getting ready to judge this place, right? And they're gonna get double. When I think about, yeah, when I think about the fact that Esau is reading these scriptures as well, and he probably understands exactly what that is, right? This scripture alone would make you think of that movie, Menace to Society, where Cain is in that interrogation room. It's like, I'll play a clip.
Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
I
See what I'm saying?
I thought.
No, so, you know what I'm saying? That you done fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
That's absolutely funny, man. Like Esau's sweating bullets right now. But this is why Esau is getting ready to crash out. These Edomites are getting ready to crash out because, their time is up. Their time is coming to a close. Now I'm going to jump to the book of Revelation chapter 12. I'm going to jump back. This is Revelation 12 and verse 12 reads, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Right? So these Edomites understand that they have a short time. Just like in the book of Job, it's talking about, the Lord set his bounds that he cannot pass. If you think about Alexander the Great, he conquered all of Europe, but when he got to the as far as India, he couldn't penetrate. He couldn't go any further than that because the Lord set Alexander the Great's bounds that he couldn't pass and get into India, right? Just like Edom, the Edomites believe that they're going to be, untouchable, unjudgeable, they feel themselves to be as the Most High. They think they're better, but they understand that they have a short time. So it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. It says, woe, which woe is destruction, the destruction. He says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. So all the people who are about to go through this judgment that the Lord's getting ready to push out on these devils, right? It says, for the devil, which are these Edomites, right? These liars, these false accusers, these deceivers. It says, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. So these Edomites are not just going to simply hand over the kingdom and say, all right, yeah, we've had enough now, it's your turn. No, they're going to go out fighting. They're going to go out fighting and they're going to lose terribly, right? Now, I'm going to read, because I mentioned it, I'm going to read in the book of Job, chapter 14. I'll probably just leave it there, but I'll just read Job. So this is Job chapter 14, verse 5. It says, seeing his days are determined, right? So seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. He cannot go any further. Esau has reached the end of the road. His time is up. His kingdom's getting ready to fall, and he knows it, right? So he's going to try and go out with a bang, but it's going to be pretty much a futile attempt, right? So I'm going to leave it there. I pray that this lesson has been edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And with that, I'm going to close out by saying, call Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Recha, Kodash. Double honors to my elders and apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, who rule well, where I've learned this truth from. I want to say peace and salutations to you hopeful elect. And it's on to the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom.